They have a lot of magic damage.
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, they've got the magic amp. I mean, what's next? You throw a coddle in the mix, and you're good to go.
Yeah, it's gonna be Coddle mid, Zeus 5.
No, this is a Zeus carry. He's gonna go the shard and an attack speed build. He's a better version of Lifestealer at that point.
You know what? I think if anyone's gonna do something crazy like that, maybe, just maybe.
Okay, so I mean, Evoker. I'm hoping this is a Quaswex Invoker, and she's just gonna start hunting down some of these intelligent, squishy heroes.
Yeah, he probably saw that he's laning for Zeus mid, right?
Yeah.
Just have the Quas region so he doesn't get pushed out of the lane. I'm fine with it. I think this was it was mainly just picked as like a lane matchup, right? It can make some space in this game.
10
Yeah,
seconds
it's just a decent pick overall.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Hoodwink and Skywrath are
5
pretty
seconds remaining.
food for Invoker for most of the game. So that'll be nice.
I mean, this Monkey potentially can,
Radiant
like,
team
if he gets on top of these heroes,
Yeah.
can be very scary. I'd like to see Monkey on core, for sure. I don't, even if it is support, it's just like the mobility of like being able to get on the back lines versus all these squishy heroes is pretty valuable this game.
Yeah. I think that like the level 15 talent, I feel like that's going to be a pretty nice power spike for this
10
Monkey,
seconds
one way or
remaining.
another.
Yeah, they need that one hero that can just like be the front
5
line for
seconds
this
remaining.
lineup. It's not going to be Beastmaster. I mean, his creeps can help, but he needs a actual hero with his summon units in the front.
Yeah.
I still think CK is a pretty good choice for them. They do need that stun. Can blow up the Viper pretty easily. If he gets hit with the Invoker can die pretty quickly too. It is a decent tool, but I feel like they're really cornered into picking a stun here.
Yeah. And that is the thing, is I do kind of like the Invoker against all of the heroes that I can think of for, like, frontlining, stunning hero. Like the disengage of Tornado EMP, I think is pretty powerful from a defense point of view. And then also just, I think, as much mobility. Like, you just got to get onto
10
these backline
seconds
heroes,
remaining.
kill them first, and the team fight's over.
Yeah, normally what I see with this
5
Zeus is
seconds remaining.
the Faceless Void, but they might just put, the Viper core if you do
Radiant
pick that
team
up.
pick.
But they have to pick something here. I'm thinking Tiny, CK,
Yeah.
Faceless Void. They could get creative and not pick a real carry if they want. Pick an offlaner as their carry, like some Legion commander or something. But I'm not opposed to that type of playstyle, to be honest with you.
10 seconds
But
remaining.
do they? I don't think their carry player is willing to do
5
that though. I
seconds
think he's more of like a traditional style of carry player.
Yeah, for sure.
Dire team pick.
And they go with no stun lineup. Let's go.
Well, I mean, listen, damage is like stuns if you
Yeah.
do enough of it,
You
right?
don't
Like, they
need-
can't
you
cast
don't-
spells if they
Yeah,
die.
you don't need to lock them down if you can just burst them on the spot as soon as you see them.
Huh. It's,
10
Is it
seconds
Rune? Oh,
remaining.
Rune just banned the sniper. Too bad.
5 seconds
What can they pick
remaining.
now to deal with this? I think Monkey should still be carry. They should just target this hero in the laning stage. He's gonna be laning with the Viper, so it really, I don't think any pos force make that big of an impact. So Viper, does he have to be a pos 4 again?
Yeah, it is kind of what it feels like. Ooh.
Now do you feel like Rune Eaters are on the back foot? They're the ones.
I want to see like a Darkseer. I think that's my hero of choice here.
Yeah, it is a pretty nice Darkseer game. Just ruin this Terrorblade. That's like, ruin this Terrorblade. Invoker gets a good enough start. Just hunts down Hoodwink and Skywrath. They start snowballing pretty heavily.
Surge is pretty good this game versus all these like, Zeus and Sky type heroes. Get on top of them pretty easily.
Yeah.
Outside of that, they might look at it as their Legion commanders. Okay, I'm not a hugest fan. They're gonna think about it. But definitely an offlaner looks good. Unless they want to put this Viper offlane versus TB, and not sure what POS 4 can make a lot of sense here.
Yeah, now that Zeus and Hoodwink both have ways to get out of, like, Clockwork Cogs, for example.
You don't want to play Clock versus TB and
Yeah.
Beast, that's for sure. Just pick the Darks. Alchemist!
You may now
What's going
select
on? So I guess it's going to be carry Alk, which it's not really good versus Terrorblade. In fact, most people want to play.
Yes.
But they're going to just put the Monkey King on support, looks like.
It's going to be very, very intriguing to see how it plays out. I'm interested also to hear what Mike and John have to say. John, that phase, please explain. Are you not convinced by the Alk at all? Do you know what these teams are gearing up to do?
Yeah, I'm not used to seeing the Alk in pause 1 anymore. I think the last time we saw it in Southeast Asia, it was mainly either offlane or support, and you just buy Ags. I mean, you can have some impact passing the Ags on. You can make a more active Alk buildup as well. I just don't know. I guess in lane, it's pretty decent. You just drop the acid spray and just kind of work from there. Maybe Rune Eaters just want to solidify position. I don't know. I think one move has a lineup with a lot of damage. As Cap said, death or dying is a form of stun, so it could work out.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I hate the Alk into the TB. I don't think Alk's a good hero at all. So I think one move's probably just got this in the bag.
All right, are we all jumping on the one move? Are we definitely 100% all-inning on them?
Rune Eaters can win this game if this Alchemist gets free farm, but if one move managed to like put their Beast versus the Viper and the TB versus the Alchemist, they're going to instantly win the game.
Alright, so I guess we're going to have to focus more on that laning phase, something you guys pointed out, as Game 2 between One Move and Rune Eaters is underway.
You see that, John? Like, Fear has something against me. This guy, every time I make a prediction that he wants to make, he doesn't make a prediction. He says, you know, they should win, but anything could happen. That's cheap, Fear. Make a prediction. Make a prediction. We can agree, Fear. We can agree.
No, Mike. You know why he can't agree with you? Because he's a TI winner. What are you, Mike? You're a guy in Australia. Casting from a shed.
One. It was only one TI, Joe. Come on. It was only one TI.
That was a great TI, though. I mean, that was a great TI, to be fair. It was an amazing TI. I love that one. That was a fun one to watch.
I guess it was. I suppose it was. And I can say I'm undefeated at TI, John. Because I am.
That is true.
Isn't that better?
Appearances, 0 losses. There you go.
Literally,
undefeated, Michael.
Literally never lost TI. Never lost.
Not the legend himself. Look at that. Look at you, Mike. The pride of Australia right here.
Yeah. Prediction god Mike the Phoenix here to cast this game for you guys, as we are going to have our classic SEA pause here in the Eastern Europe DPC. Talk to me about the draft, John. I feel like all of us agree that this Rune Eaters draft looks a bit weak. No real great stuns again either. Like, you've got some Invoker spells, you've got a Balanced Strike, and you've got Unstable Concoction. Feels a bit meh. And then you've got Alk into TB. Once you get an Eye of Skadi on the TB, it just feels like the game's just over.
Yeah, it can be a bit tough for the Alk to play the sustained game here. I think pointing out stuns, it feels like one move has worse in terms of laning. You have Bushwhack and I guess Lightning Bolt. So it's not, you know, the most amazing. Down the line, when you do get the Roar, it can feel a lot better. But just having at least the Boundless Strike, Cold Snap, and the Unstable Concoction does give Rune Eaters a little bit more leeway to kind of play that early laning phase, start to get aggressive, look for kills, you know. Stuns equals kills in most cases if you can isolate heroes. So they can look to get that done. And that's what we have to see from Rune Eaters change up. We saw one move take the offensive last time around. They were the ones super aggressive. They were the ones that built off this amazing start from their mid from Meljewel and just kind of ran down. This time around, Rune Eaters kind of needs to get that done. Buy space for TA2000. As we saw King get the Knight get space in game 1 on his sniper, you need to do the same for your Al. Have him snowball, have him build up, and, you know, run down.
Bit of a slip of the tongue there, Jonathan. King instead of Knight. I mean, he was playing like a king last game around.
I was thinking of chess. I don't know why. It's like chess. King, yes.
You're not even good at chess, Joe. You don't even play chess.
I don't play much. Every time I do, I'm like, wow, I'm terrible. But I like watching chess. I don't know, Mike. It's fun, you know? Listening to theory and stuff like that, it's fun.
Do you even understand the theory, John?
Somewhat. Okay. Maybe. If I watch it enough, perhaps, you know?
Okay.
Maybe.
Hot tip, John. Knights actually make an L shape in chess.
Very hot tip. I didn't see that. It wasn't quite the Elfer Knight last game, though, so we'll see if Rune Eaters can force it out here. As we are
Very
taking a
good
look
job.
at the top lane, Afterlife does adjust. We talked about Alk versus Beastmaster kind of boiling down to, you know, scoring a win on the creep wave and just clearing out the boars. He does go for the Axis. So you have some presence here on the Beastmaster. You don't quite have the mana sustain. At least you have the Sage Mask. I'm going to the Basilius for some regen. And your Sky combination doesn't come online here because you don't have the Boar Slow stacking with Concussive. So this is a much more playable lane for Rune Eaters. They can look to be aggressive. You've got the early impetus up from Cowrie, lots of good damage. And Acid Spray does make short work of Afterlife if he does come in for the CS. So a little bit of a back and forth. You are dropping a bit low here on Rune Eaters. You still have to respect those axes. Damage can stack up. 6 stacks on TA2000, already down in HP and out of tangos. He's gonna have to watch himself.
Oh, yeah, that's a snipe there from Afterlife. Right on target. Afterlife, he's been practicing with those axes, John. And, you know, one combo we haven't talked about at all yet, while we do have a quick pause out. Once you do have some points in the Ancient Seal, if you do go for it in the laning stage, with the axes, it's gonna hurt. It's a lot of damage.
Oh, it is. And, you know, we were talking about just right then, I was mentioning that, you know, you're not quite online without the slow stacking and the boars. Concussive shot still makes it easy to line the axis up. So he managed to run down, and you're in this awkward position for TA2000. Does have the full wand up, but no points of regen. At the least, I guess your Ench can respawn and bring tangos 2 salves. You know, they got to bring 2 salves now, Mike, to top up your core. That's how it goes. No level 2 in sight yet for Ench either, so no value point in that Nature's Attendance yet. Could go for it once the EXP flows in, but one move already in a great start. Just controlling on the off lane, preventing the Alk from having a very comfy lane, and just finding these early kills again.
Yeah, absolutely. How's that mid lane going? We haven't looked at that too much yet. Melajor, again, this time around, he's going to be playing the mid Zeus against Hayes on that Invoker. It does feel like another game where Hayes is going to have to be somewhat active, like he needed to be on that puck last game around. And so you are going to be trying to buy a lot of space here for the Alchemist. TA2000, obviously going to want to go into the jungle later on, just try to take some stacks, get some farm going, but it does feel like you've got a great draft here from one move to just kind of infiltrate that jungle, so I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on the Invoker again. And speaking of Afterlife, he's in big trouble right now as they do dive him. TA2000 recognizing a weakness. Afterlife just out of position, and of course Seiyu unable to help them on the Skywrath.
I mean, he does have that Ancient Seal combination with the Wild Axes coming in, so with a fully topped up Beastmaster, you could try to make a move again, but you have to respect that early Acid Spray and Unstable. That is physical damage with a minus armor and Acid Spray. You can melt through the Beastmaster, although the Ring of Protection is cutting off a bit, but a bit back and forth. Seiyu now in a bit of trouble here.
He certainly is. Seiyu gonna try to run, but TA2000 once again finding another kill here on the Alchemist as he is 2-0 already. This is a very different kind of laning stage here for TA2000 compared to last time around, and a great start for the Alp.
Yeah, it's looking like a strong start already.
Cloud.
That's exactly what you want to see down bot, though.
Yeah, he's in trouble. Cloud's gone, and now Arrow, he's leaped right into them. Reflection gonna give all the vision they need, and Arrow... Well, I was just talking about the great start this Alchemist was having, John, but now you might give a double kill away tonight unless Arrow still running. Pantomime. He does get it. Very nice kill there with the Acorn shot. Sorry, I called him Pantomime, Jonathan. It's Pantomime. My apologies.
Yeah,
He's not a meme,
slip
John.
those memes in. He's not a meme.
He's not a
but
meme.
Memes are great. You know, I don't think Phantom Mem will mind too much. Already a strong start as well for Knight. The bot lane we didn't really talk about either. Although up top they're running down again.
Now, TA2000, though, this time the one in trouble was Afterlife, still chasing, but they can't get the final axes off yet. TA, no, he's going to get caught out. There's no way out of this one. Afterlife and Seiyu able to give it back his way, but Cowrie is going to move in and try to find a bit of a trade here onto Seiyu. But no, stops microing the Hellbear Smasher. I think he could have got that. Seiyu's just going to run right into the tier 2 and deny himself instead.
Yeah, just gets the reset on that Sky once more. And you see action across the map. Pantomime does fall this time, and a little bit of a skirmish over the runes. Mellow Jewel still manages to find his water rune, and you're still kind of in a good spot here for one move. You are seeing Rune Eaters kind of fight back, though. They've got better laning coming through. They've got ways to fight back. And they are still building upon this Alk, who has died, but 2 kills under his belt. Phase Boot's not too far off, has the Soul Ring, and has the infused raindrops for protection. So you have raindrops, you have flash healing from the magic wand. You should be able to hold steady on the Alk and just try to hit those spikes. At some point, Rune Eaters will have to pick up the pace from elsewhere, which is where our Invoker and our Viper will have to kick in. And so far, Cloud, he's having a better lane than last time. He is keeping Knight down low on that TB, not giving that opportunity to just farm on the Terrorblade, but that's to be expected. The TB doesn't really have a great time in that lane. He's still not doing too bad, right? Like, the CS is still up there, 16-1 bottom CS of the board, but he did find that one early kill. That kind of compensates for it.
It certainly does. Top lane, bit of aggression again. Unstable Concoction is going to land, and with the dominated creep Afterlife, he's in big trouble. He'll go for a bit of a run towards the north, but TA2000 is still in the chase as the creep is still giving perfect vision over Afterlife. They might at least get the edge for this, but it's not worth the Beastmaster's life as TA2000 is going to be able to secure the kill, though he does end up stunning himself, but he should be just fine to walk his way out. Another nice kill here for the Alchemist. And that Unstable Concoction along with the Acid Spray really starting to prove to be an issue here as bot lane. Knight does end up going down to Cloud. They do at least trade with the Viper, but Arrow gonna clean up here, taking down Panto, and it's still great in these side lanes for the side of Rune Eaters.
And they're finding that aggression. They're starting to suppress that Terrorblade really well. The farm of Knight is still bottom in terms of CS. It's not having a great time in that start, still having a better time in TA2000, and it feels like we're at the point where one move has to slow down a little bit with the aggression because they're getting picked off here.
Yeah, TA2000 really abusing this minus armor. Finding another kill. That'll be his 4th of the game already. 6.5 minutes in, so again, it's a great start for the Alchemist. See how he does transition to the mid game though, as mid lane. Melajor in trouble. Hayes getting aggressive now with Arrow jumping in, but there is Panto TPing out to try and help out. Primal Spring though is out. Arrow still going with the Tornado. Have they got enough? Melajor still trying to run. The Monkey King though, it does pay off. Arrow making the jump in. He will give his life away, but you get the mid Zeus for that. Great play from Arrow.
Yeah, that does signal for the D ward in one move, and they will take off that offensive ward, watching the rear. But you are building up once more in Rune Eaters, keeping down the side of one move down, and Afterlife gets caught again.
He does. It's all off Cowrie. Cowrie's just doing a really great job of keeping this lane on his side of things, and well, every time the contest is there from the Beastmaster Cowrie, he always has the right creep to just lock him down or slow him down. Meanwhile, bottom lane, at least they are going to find the Viper, so Cloud, he does end up dropping tonight. Still, I mean, you've got to appreciate how great of a start Rune Eaters have had for this game number 2.
They've set up for their Alk. They're getting a strong start for the Invoker. Rune already up, Urn already up with 2 charges on, so rotations can come in with that Cold Snap at the ready. And for the side of one move, it's a bit of an awkward spot for them. Their lineup feels like it needs to get online relatively soon. And you're trying to play into the Alchemist. You can't allow this guy to keep farming, but they're already losing a substantial part of their map. Bot jungle, it's kind of overtaken. Cowrie rotates in to help Cloud and Arrow to just take control. Arrow's just scouting around now on the Monkey King, keeping track of that movement. They're lining up down mid here.
They are. Arrow. Go ahead and take the double damage rune from himself on the Monkey King. Certainly can make some very good use of it in conjunction with the Boundless Strike, and now he's going to find Knight on the TB, but he will need a bit of help for this. Just maybe a +1 to get this one done, but Knight is going to pop the meta preemptively. Now, Hayes not making his way over, but they are bringing more people from the south as Cowrie. He's going to go for a bit of a rotation on the edge, but I think you need a bit more than that. Cowrie still hanging around. Maybe they just don't want to force the fight with the meta on Knight, but it is going to wear off in, well, roughly 10-15 seconds. They just keep the vision up as Cloud has rotated down the Viper, but they won't be able to lock him down. He's going to be just fine. Meanwhile, mid though, Seiyu, probably not going to be so fine, as he does get taken down solo by Hayes. Just not really too much he could have done about it.
And they take over that area once more. They drop another ward watching the area. Will manage to go for that rotation onto the mid. And it's Rune Eaters on the aggressive. They're the ones taking initiative. They're the ones finding these opportunities. The side of one move, I mean, they're kind of just trying to build up in the TB. They're sacrificing a lot to get that done. They can't afford to lose this mid tier 1 early on. They need to find a way to defend. And this is where that lack of stuns kicks in, right? You just don't have supports with control here, so you're going to have some really unique angles to take these fights.
Oh, but Arrow's been watching everything. Still, he does miss the balance strike completely. He gets the Wukong's command off, but he's going to give his own life away. Knight will have a laugh to himself about that one. And that mid-tier 1 tower, it's going to stand a little bit longer here as... Well, sadly for Rune Eaters, they didn't go in with a siege creep. So they didn't have the greatest amount of damage onto that tier 1 mid, and... Well, Arrow, he kind of throws his life away for nothing.
Top tower is under attack.
You find that kill for one move, you feel pretty satisfied. I think Rune Eaters are still happy though. You've got an AFK farming, Alchemist uncontested up top. The presence of a Beastmaster is kind of diminished at this point up against the levels on the Alch already, so the kill threat isn't there. For the side of one move, it does feel like they need to start maybe playing around the Beastmaster at this point. You've got the early Dominator up. You can look for a bit of a tower push up top to equalize the map that you've lost by dropping your tier 1 bot early on, and start to buy a bit more space out for the TV. You've always got the global presence of Meljul whenever Thunder God's Wrath is up, and we did see that combination in play. Ancient Seal plus Zeus is a lot of damage, although speaking of Meljul...
Yeah, he's in trouble. Nice setup here from Hayes and Cowrie. That'll be Meljul gone once again, as now they can certainly set up for that mid-tier 1 tower. This mid Zeus having a very rough game so far. Rune just doing a great job taking down that mid-tier 1 now, and it just seems like one move. They're kind of the team where they've got to slow down a little bit, try to not get picked off too often, and get that farm going, because they are starting to fall very far behind. Currently 3k net worth behind, but against an Alchemist who has, or is going to be slowly rotating to the jungle, that net worth lead is going to escalate very quickly. Arrow, let's get a bit of vision, but we'll pounce right back out as it was seen by Panto. Some D-wards to come out from Arrow, and that'll actually be enough. TA 2000, he's actually holding this tier 1 tower with the acid spray. They can't actually get past it.
And he's going for the old school Alch build up, Armlet up into the Radiance next. So you're going to have even more farm flowing in. That's farm that the Terrorblade is struggling to keep up with. Like, you're dealing with a lot of things. They do find Arrow at the least. You find one kill for your trouble. That is just the support Monkey. That could open up the top push. Looks like Rune Eaters aren't keen on keeping the defense any longer. And that should equalize the map just a bit, but your cores are very starved. You're keeping up with Haze, you're keeping up with Cloud. You do not have a solution for TA 2000. You need to kind of hit some item spikes here before the early BKBs come in, because once the early BKBs are up, your Zeus, your Skyrat combo, it just kind of dissipates.
Mid lane, Meljul. Avoid a gank here from Hayes and Cowrie. Does get himself out of there with the heavily jump, as now the rotation is coming in from one move. Arrow is going to rejoin his team in the mid lane, and they actually back off at the right moment, not giving the opening away for that smoke. In the meantime, Afterlife able to finally get that top tier 1 tower, but it's been a very kind of slow game again for one move, who need to slow the game down even more if they hope to have a chance here, as Panto down a bot lane going to try and set up with the bushwhack. He will land it. And now with the sharpshooter, it's not going to take too much time to take down this Ench. Nice little pickup, and that'll hold any kind of push coming in for this tier 2 bot.
Yeah, just preventing more map from being lost here from the side of one move. Rune Eaters still moving together as a unit, right? They're trying to use that Monkey King vision. They're trying to use their early control advantage or early damage to keep that pressure up on one move, not allowing too much safe space for Knight, who still needs a lot to build into here on the Terrorblade, working onto the Manta next, whereas, again, our Alch inching closer and closer towards that Radiance. And you don't have early solutions for that sustain and presence of the Alch. You don't have an early Urn into Vessel here, no early Scotty, of course, for Knight, as he's still a ways off, and Rune Eaters just always smoke off the back of Haze. He's got his full Spirit Vessel going. Arrow's feeling very confident on Monkey, level 8 now, lots of damage when he does Tree Dance in. And one move just don't have a way of fighting back. Like, we haven't seen any early wars come out from Afterlife Full.
Mid lane, Meljul again getting caught out. He'll go for the jump away, but he's completely out of mana. And with the Spirit Vessel, it's just going to tick him out slowly. Is he going to drop? Yeah, he will. Last tick was enough. Hayes will get the kill. It's been a very, very tough game for this mid Zeus. Third death of the game for him. 1-3-1 is the scoreline on the Zeus, and it's always the same place, John. In that mid lane, they continue to pick him off. You'd think it's about time to just not go there anymore.
Yeah, down
bot lane. They'll try for Cloud. They'll have him now with the sharpshooter. No problem. Cloud will drop. Trying to go for that bot T2 tower once again. Rune Eaters, they are making their way over, so maybe they want to try and punish, but underneath that tier 2 tower, it doesn't seem like a great idea.
It's a bit tough. They did have to blow the Primal Roar. You don't have the threat of the Sharpshooter up just yet. And the Thunder God's Rat is still a ways off, so maybe there's a bit of a window here. Not too much to jump onto Afterlife. The important thing for one move is that you are having Knight free farm. So again, he's keeping up in the farm, just not high enough to keep up with the Alk. Radiant's almost done here for TA2000, has the Sacred Relic up. And again, once you have that running up against a physical core like TB, that evasion chance is going to hurt a lot of his DPS.
Oh, nice bushwhack. That's a great bushwhack from Panto. Right on the edge there onto Hayes, and you saw him try to react and move out of the way, but there was just no chance in hell. He's now bot lane TA. He's going to try and get this bot T2 tower down, but look at the damage up from Millijul. Finally, it's his time to shine. They try to make the jump in onto this Alk, but where's the hold? No roar available. In fact, he just runs his way out. Seiyu now the one in danger, but he will walk his way out on the Skywrath. They will not get the Alchemist, and they will not protect the bottom T2 tower. They need more stun than that, and well, sadly, again, John, the roar was on cooldown.
And that's, again, where this lineup kind of falls flat, Mikey. They don't have the best stuns on their lineup. I mean, Bushwhack is nice. It's not reliable. Catching out the Alk is a bit of a chore for the side of one move. TA2000 just takes a tier 2. Backs off, keeps farming up. Radiant's pretty much done. So he's going to be flying up, even more presence in the Alchemist. Great scan as well to spot the movement with 2 supports here. Does allow the Alk to back off. And the side of Rune Eaters can kind of sit confidently. They've got map control, taking the tier 1 mid, tier 2, tier 1 down bot. Bot jungle's completely open. It's not the safest spot now for Knight to keep farming up. He's still been doing a great job on TB, kind of after a bit of a rougher laning start for him, but it's still just nowhere close where he needs to be. Needs the man to into that Scotty to deal with the Alchemist, and even that might fall flat. You need to hook up, start playing with Afterlife, start playing with Aurora every time it's up. The Helm of the Overlord is going to be up, so you will at least have an Ancient Creep up front to help you clear out the creep wave, do some damage, maybe boost your durability with the Golem as well. And just look at Rune Eaters. Again, constantly clumped, constantly smoking, always finding the angles with how mobile they are.
Yeah, this is what you want to do. Just keep buying the space for your Alchemists as they do look to move in. Haste. Rather Haze. Gonna walk his way out of there just fine. Still trying. Millijul. Be a great target to aim down on the Zeus, but not gonna make the jump in here. Rune Eaters, they'll play it safe. Again, I think as long as they're out farms for another, say, 5 to 10 minutes, you're gonna be borderline 6 slotted here on the Alchemist, and well, by that point, you can start moving high ground. Not really much in the way of stopping you as the Alchemist. So it's all about buying a bit more time for TA2000 and maybe just not giving Roshan away, though one move has moved into that Roshan pit. You really don't want to give this away. Like, if you're Rune Eaters with the lead you have right now, the one thing you don't want to lose is Roshan.
Yeah, you can't afford to give that away. It gives one move that opportunity to look for riskier fights, to stall longer on Knight to build up. They do scan with the Sunstrike. So they've got the idea, and they're in position to maybe get a rotation in with 3 heroes down mid. Forces back one move for the moment, but they've got the visions with a Hawk. They can at least keep the map protected, and they can try again if they want to. We'll hold back for now. So some time wasted. Rune Eaters just constantly piling on, still playing in that bot jungle they got early control over. And there's just no answer from one move. Like, they have all of the spell damage coming through. We see it in a couple of ganks, but not in the big targets they need. And we're just at the point where the Alchemist is hitting its stride. Your Invoker has the Midas farming up insanely well into that BKB. And as mentioned here, Mike, once you get those early BKBs, the Zeus, the Sky, they basically do nothing here. Even your Hoodwink kind of gets less impact, just because you're relying mainly on the Roar for control at that point. They have this opportunity for the top push, and Rune Eaters are happy enough to give that away. So there is some equalization here from one move to take control of the top jungle. They've got good defensive wards for Knight to farm around this area, but now they need to play a game where they're constantly de-shoving their waves. Bot is always going to be shoved in, and of course with the Alchemist with Radiance, TA2000 is going to use this time a lot more efficiently than our Terrorblade can.
I'll be frank though, John, I don't think one move mind if their waves are pushed in right now. Like, again, the net worth lead, 6k right now, 19 minutes in. It's not huge considering there's an Alchemist on the other end of things. And this TA, or rather TB, is, he's climbing, John. I have Skadi. It's not going to be too long before he has it up. And again, once you've got that Skadi up, maybe you need a damage item, but chances are you don't. The Alch, he may be in trouble. It's TA2000. He's still farming very well, but it's kind of a question of what point do you group up and try for high ground? Or at least Roshan for the side of Rune.
Yeah, and they need to start finding these objectives. I guess you're just looking at the movement of one move here, Mike. You did mention they didn't mind being shoved in. They're the ones shoving in themselves. Afterlife takes a very forward position, and Rune Eaters don't really respond. Like, that tier 3 towers tick down to 1.8. If you allow the Beastmaster to just constantly push in like this, it'll actually melt, and they need to find a way to get this group up working, because they've been stuck around bot and mid for a long time. They are clumping up together. Maybe looking for a bit of a smoke play. I don't see any. It is on arrows. They pop it now. Could be the fight they're looking for. One move, can't afford to lose any big heroes. They might just sacrifice their support here.
Yeah, I mean, Pato, if he dies, he'll be happy with it. Just scouting out this smoke rotation. And in fact, he gets away. They saw Arrow. Puts a sticker down. Lets them know about it. Rune Eaters, they've got to keep trying. If they can find a couple key pickoffs, they are going right into Roshan, which is the whole point. But for now, they found nothing. Panto, he may get caught, but it looks like he's still fine with the scurry to get away here and just rejoin his team as they are waiting. Rune Eaters, they're going to make their move over. Sunstrike is there, Tornado to be thrown out, but the Skywrath is still fine. Seiyu does get spotted now, but they've got the Monkey King. Bushwhack landing on perfectly there on the MK. As Seiyu's going to try and TP out and they don't see him. Oh, that is just... That's not a great feeling here for Rune Eaters, not at all.
You have to appreciate just how well Panto led them into their zone of control. They had wards in that area. They were clumped up. They were ready to take these opportunistic fights, and they just find the angle. Sure, they have to pop Thunder God's Rat. Doesn't matter. It nets them a kill while they're playing super passive on the side of one move. They're just shoving in lanes. They're just building up that farm timings you mentioned on Night here, Mike. And it's kind of lining up. In the end game, you're looking at TB versus Alk, and Alk does feel great with a gold advantage, right? Like, he's 4k above the TB. That's one major item over the Terrorblade that the Terrorblade won't have, but it's only him. And that 5k net worth lead is just dumped all in on TA2000. Cloud is lagged behind. Haze has the Midas to help catch up, is still going to hit the BKB timing, but is also going to start to drop off in itemization in comparison because of the sacrifices they're making. And when it boils down to it, we've seen this situation with Alchemist Core before. He could be 10k gold ahead, but at that point, if you're talking about 20k versus 30k net worth on your pause 1, it starts to lose that impact. You know, towards the later parts of the game, the gold lead just sometimes doesn't even matter on a hero like Alchemist.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing enough right now to make this Alk work. They might go for another big smoke up. I think they're just allowing one move to do way too much of the map. They've got a big enough net worth advantage where they should be able to move out, but now they will 5-man smoke. Blink is available on TA2000, so you've got a nice way of closing the gap here as the Alchemist now. See how one move tries to avoid this team fight as they are still pushing out the top wave. Rune Eaters, they'll run through the Radiant Triangle, but nobody's going to be around that area. It's completely been kind of abandoned here by one move as Sunstrikes are coming out, but look where one move are. They're just underneath their own vision. Same vision, same spot, same vision, John. You don't want to fight in this area as Rune Eaters.
And they've got to smoke up as well, so they can easily spot. They know they're moving in this area because Afterlife's courier with a blink is gone, and they find a wrong spot. They're not even on the right side here. Rune Eaters smoke pops, they clear the creep wave, and now the side of one move have this opportunity. They still have that Ancient Seal combination with Mystic Flare. They've got the Roar, they've got the tree line. Rune Eaters do back off, but this is so much time they're using that it's not amounting to much. One move's allowed to farm, allowed to gap close, but their Terrorblade's net worth. They're going for Roshan.
Oh no.
Could be it, but the Scotty's up on Knight, so he's got a solution to that regen on TA2000.
He certainly does, John. This could be terrible timing for Rune Eaters. They may have had to do this a bit earlier, because now with the Scotty up, they've definitely got an answer here for the Alk. See how this one pans out. They know Roshan's going on. Axes will give a bit of vision. Of course, they've always got the Hawk as the sharpshooter. Already going to land, but Arrow, he's made the jump in. Still, there goes your Alchemist right onto the Beastmaster as a stun. He's going to be purged off by the Tornado. And the Beastmaster Afterlife, he's still fine. He's going to survive the initial onslaught as Roshan is still alive. Rune Eaters, they're going to try and go back, I think. But an immediate smoke out here from one move. This could be very dangerous now for Rune Eaters. They can't leave Roshan. They've got to stick around and hope that one move don't snipe it. A big moment. This could be the turning point for One Move. If they get this Aegis up, Rune Eaters are in big trouble. BKB now available on the Invoker, so Hayes should have a bit of an easier time in this next team fight. One Move, they're just going to back off for now. Just back into their triangle, back onto the high ground. Rune Eaters, they might be the ones to need to start the fight once again. And John, if I may add, that team fight could have gone a whole lot differently had they killed off that Beastmaster, but they stacked the stun with a Tornado, and, well, that kind of just screwed it up.
And a Glimmer Cape saved as well, coming out from Panto. Didn't really have a way of spotting out, and they just kind of escaped. So Roche is delayed. Rune Eaters, again, not finding too much. They are building up in the Alk. It's still a constant 4K net worth lead. And we're at that point again where the Terrorblade with the Scotty up, it doesn't feel like he minds. He's going for the Satanic next to have his own sustain. Only thing you'll lack is probably just a BKB for Knight afterwards, and then you're feeling gravy.
Cloud,
Dire
be
are
careful,
scanning.
sir. Vision going to be placed. Cloud not going to get spotted, but now will. They know the Viper's around somewhere. Nice vision being placed, though, right before this Roshan fight, because now if you're One Move, you can sneak up behind them in that dire triangle, or rather dire jungle, while they're hanging around that area. The Rune Eaters again going to try and snipe Roshan, and this time the Hawk is giving vision once again. So you've got time to try and get in there, but Roshan is dropping fast. They've got to hurry up if they want to try and contest this, and Roshan, it's just going to go the way of Rune Eaters. Nice quick Roshan. In fact, they even found the Hoodwink, so Panto, he'll go for a bit of a run, and he might just make it out. But if you're Rune Eaters, you'll just be happy with taking Roshan.
Yeah, you take the Roche, you've got
Dire's top
an
tower
opportunity
is
to be
under
aggressive
attack.
with your Alchemist while he's ahead.
Radiant's top tower
AC being
is
built
under
up,
attack.
Hyperstone and Backpack
Radiant
should be able to clear out
scanning.
some outer objectives here. The side of One Move, I like what their response is though. They just keep clumping top. Just go for the tier 3, force a response, try to get an opening on the objectives and get some punishment
Arrow.
going.
Radiant's top
Arrow's in trouble now, John. Mystic Flare out.
Jeez.
Start. Yeah, it's just way too quick with the sharpshooter. This shouldn't be happening to Rune Eaters, John. They just have not addressed his top lane.
Nah, they've left it alone. We've seen One Move just stick here for what, almost 5 to 7 minutes now, just playing this area, playing with a Rune Ward they had, or the Cliff Ward they had. Don't have it anymore, but they're still getting a good amount of damage. Tier 3 down to 700 HP. They might find the first tier 3 of the game if Rune Eaters aren't careful. You've got the Global Presence on your Zeus amplified with the Nimbus up. And you've got the Terrorblade who's still within 4K gold of Alchemist. And that gold impact of the Alchemist just doesn't feel big enough. Look, AC is going to be nice along with the BKB to protect, so the Terrorblade can't just rip you apart instantly with some spell protection on hand as well. But One Mover just kind of going for the stall game, and when it comes to the stall game here, how do you push high ground against a Zeus with Nimbus? You know, how do you start to focus on your lanes with a Beastmaster with the Helm of the Overlord without any sort of travels build up on any of your cores to work the lanes? Like, you are getting a travels out for Hayes next. Feels like he possibly could have used that earlier, but opts for the BKB that hasn't been touched because no fights are coming out. So the early BKB investments from Rune Eaters doesn't even line up for some early team fights because One Move are just not giving them that move here, Mike.
Yeah. And you see the line being drawn out on the minimap. They were drawing right towards the top lane to try and address this lane, because Afterlife is there with Seiyu and Panto, and, well, they're going to have to TP back. At this rate, the Aegis is just going to expire, and you're going to have nothing done with it. And you might argue you've denied it away from One Move, but they're the team behind. You know, if you get nothing done with this Aegis, I just don't know what to say. You're just never going to have an opportunity. And props to One Move for making this kind of work. They're doing a great job of ratting, but at the same time, Rune Eaters, I feel like they're not trying hard enough to get this fight going. They're going to
feels
smoke
like they
up now.
shouldn't be able to rat. And you've got the BKB up now on Knight, so he does have that protection from the stuns of Rune Eaters. Smoke out from Rune Eaters as well. So we'll see if they find the angle. They're still playing around under top jungle, looking to wrap down. They don't have offensive wards in the bot jungle anymore. So vision's kind of dark here. Gonna have to try to work the angle with Arrow. Again, use that Monkey King vision to their advantage as much as possible.
Gonna try and sneak up. One Move, they are grouped up as a team, so it's good news for them. Rune Eaters, though, gonna make their way in. We'll see Afterlife first. Panto is gonna be the first target as they will commit the Boundless Strike, and they might be able to secure this. The Hoodwink is gonna drop. One Move, they just want to run, but Knight, he's been caught out alone, I think. He's still got a BKB, though. Won't pop it yet. He'll be very patient as Cloud does go for the Viper Strike, but they will just force Staff Knight away. He's still holding on to that BKB, just being very, very patient as Rune Eaters. Well, they only find the Pos 5 Hoodwink. It's just not a great fight, and props to One Move, John. They understand all they need to do is continue delaying this game, and eventually you are just going to be the stronger draft.
Yeah, and they know the Alk has a bit of a timer, that he's a gold sink. And again, we've seen the situation with Core Alk before, well, where you're pouring all your net worth onto this one hero that kind of is easily managed in the right circumstances. Knight still getting the build up, went for the early BKB roar.
Right in. You might say that's a roar for a support Monkey King, but again, for One Move, that's all the vision from Rune Eater's gone. And that's a hero that you're not going to fight without. So One Move, they know they can go across the map now and keep that farm going, and it really is a devastating kill here for Rune Eaters.
They're relying so much on the Monkey to set up. We heard a panel talk about the importance of the Boundless Strike in this game being one of their reliable stuns as well from a huge mile away. Not going to be seeing that, and you know they've been relying on Arrow to find the angles for the Monkey. It's a path find for the team through the fog. It still hasn't been working out. I think for One Move, it's been boiling down to a couple of things. They've been using their Hawk Vision well. They've been using their Obs wards really well and forcing these fights in areas where Rune Eaters just doesn't find success. Like that cliff area by the bot jungle, we saw that even in game 1 being a tough spot for Rune Eaters to kind of pierce through. And One Move are just using that area really well once more. They're holding top. The Aegis expires now, so you don't have that secondary life on TA2000. He is working towards the Overwhelming Blink. Could be a really good time for the Elk. We haven't seen any of this network really show up though. Like One Mover is still just playing the top jungle. They're still playing the top lane and mid lane now as well, cutting creep waves, preventing a threat on the high ground. And the lead is still 6k. All the cores are starting to get choked out. Haze, Cloud are keeping up, but it's all about Knight, and it just doesn't feel like you still have the answers for the Terrorblade with the BKB up. Going to the Daedalus next, damage is not going to be an issue here.
They gotta keep keeping up top. It's just this constant. It's a repeat performance here. Like it's the same thing over and over again. TP top, defend tier 3 tower, but now we can't push. Aegis is gone, by the way, as well, John. You are gonna get to the stage where you are 6-slotted as the Alk. We are gonna see if it's gonna pay off. You and I have been rambling on about this the whole game, and against TB, it doesn't feel good unless you get the catch on him. See what they can do, but they still have not addressed this ratting from One Move. And just look at Afterlife. Just using the axes, he makes his own pathway through the tree line. This has been their home for the last 20 minutes, it feels like. He just keeps refurnishing with these trees.
Yeah, it's really tough for Rune Eaters. I mean, they're still playing aggressively down in the bot jungle, still taking over that area of the map, but it doesn't feel like they've gotten a good solution for top. The travels of Haze at least allows them to, you know, constantly check the lane, so they're preventing any sort of objective take, but I don't know, it's like, even if they do start to pierce into high ground, you've got the Zeus and the Beastmaster still, like, you can still play globally with the Zeus, just drop Nimbus and stop the push. Overwhelming Blink is up for TA2000, so he's at the point where he's a very, very tanky little Alchemist here. And that could slow down even the presence of Knight. It's gonna be a bit tricky, and you know you have to deal with the fact that Thunder God's Wrath will always spot you out as well. So if you group up for a smoke, it gets really obvious, and they're just forced back to farming. I guess we could start thinking here, Mike, about say, you know, you're fully slotted up on your Alchemist, maybe some Ags being gifted out. Like you could maybe after this full Abyssal Blade or full Butterfly from TA2000, that could be a possibility. I don't see any major Ags upgrades though outside of, say, Haze on the Invoker. And they actually do still manage to find a tier 3 anyway, so they get the first objective.
Yeah, that they do. Tier 3 tower top lane is gone. And by the way, John, going back to that, the Alchemist donating Ags over, I mean, it's a POS 1 Alch, John. We know these POS 1 players. They'd rather just hold the gold, earn some interest. Interest rates are going up, so why the hell not? TA2000, just stack some rapiers in the fountain eventually. No Aghanim Scepters being donated to anyone, I'm sure, on Rune Eaters. It's just not the POS 1 way. Still, they are grouped up. Maybe it's about time to smoke up again. Invisibility. I mean, you could wait for the Butterfly to come out on TA2000 just to feel really safe. He may just actually wait till that moment. I mean, I guess for an Alk, it's only going to take a couple minutes anyway. Still Arrow. Underneath Vision. is going to pounce away again. He'll be fine. Panto definitely looking for a nice bushwhack onto that Monkey King. Again, it's so important you keep Arrow alive, even just for the vision from that tree dance. And well, for now, Arrow is going to be just fine, but it does seem like both teams, the focus will be all about Roshan.
Lining up for next Roche. Minute away, less than a minute away here.
Cloud.
Important to see who gets a roll.
Rara out. They want to just try and blow up the Viper. They've almost got him, but 4 staffs away. He's going to be fine for now, but no, Melajul. He will get him. They will at least find the Hoodwink eventually. Surely, Panto in trouble. Sunstrike is going to land. It's still a great trade for one move. Rune Eaters, they only get one, and it's a +5 Hoodwink for a position 3 Viper. Not a great trade, and even more gold going back the way of one move. So luckily for the side of Rune Eaters, Roshan is not up yet, but it will be up in about 10 seconds.
And that could be good timing for Rune Eaters. Afterlife did pop his BKB there. Roar is also down, so there's an opportunity for Rune Eaters to maybe go for a cheeky Roshan. Looks like they're going to have to repair their lanes first. Threat of top push is always still hanging, so they've got to kind of cover that lane. Are still getting some good vision out with Arrow jumping through the tree line.
Uh-oh. Did he just jump into a tree as it was getting axed down? Is that what just happened? I didn't get to see it.
Yeah, I think so. Afterlife threw out the axis, broke it down, get the kill. And now that's their opportunity for Roche. They know without the Monkey King scouting forward, without the threat of Boundless, it's pretty tough for Rune Eaters to find a good angle, relying mainly on the Invoker. There's still a good angle to work here, though.
This is such a bad predicament unless they can fight this Roshan. Afterlife, he's going to be jumped. Maybe it's a great predicament, but Afterlife, he's still alive, trying to abuse the Fog Mount. Won't get the roar off in time. Nice kill there from Kaori. It's the A2000 back into the Roshan pit. It's a 4v4 scenario, but it certainly feels to go the way of Rune Eaters. But they back off again. I mean, without the Beastmaster, without the roar being up, you think this would be the fight.
Yeah, they play it safe. I think it's because they're down to BKB now on their Alk, so he's very vulnerable to all the magic damage coming through.
Oh, that's a big one.
Oh,
They've got
God.
the Invoker, but Arrow, he'll save. He'll sacrifice his own life for the Invoker. But Arrow's down again for 45. He does have buyback, but that might be enough time. Because they are going to commit the buyback immediately. They are not going to waste any time here. Rune Eaters, they need him on that Monkey King. His Knight might try to go for Roshan once again, but Cloud is going to show up and try to intervene. Roshan, though, dropping very, very quick. They've got to get in there quick. Sunstrike is there. TA2000 will get started with the BKB. Is out. The Alchemist trying to run his Knight. Just keeps going and picks up the Aegis. He'll even take the shards. That's a problem for Rune Eaters.
Yeah, they fought back. They didn't get the angle in. They had no follow through for the Alk blinking in as well. And one move doesn't have to commit much for that. Like, they didn't even have to buy back an Afterlife earlier on. He's just perfectly happy, and it just works out. 6k lead still standing for Rune Eaters, but again, this gold lead you have on TA2000 still hasn't amounted to much. Butterfly's up. So the Alchemist is super durable up front with all the evasion stacking from the Radiance and from that Butterfly. Can be harder to pick off, but we've already seen, even if you don't right-click him when a BKB is down, your magic damage is still enough. You've got Melojula with a static field, 9% of their current HP. That constant burn is there with the Arc Lightning and Lightning Bolt spam. So you can still whittle away at the Alchemist, no problems, even if your Terrorblade can't get hits in. Rune Eaters taking a more aggressive stance once more across the lane here, away from one move. One move still have the high ground here, though, so it can be tough fighting into this.
You've got an MKB up now on the TB as well, Johnson. Knight, he won't care about that Butterfly any longer. Not on the Alchemist.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Rune
attack.
Eaters, they'll see the TB, but it is not a safe jump in, especially while he has that Aegis up. Mind you, Metamorphosis, it is going to be down for a while. 35 more seconds, so Rune Eaters, they could have had an opportunity there, but you're just not going to take it. And well, they still hold the net worth lead, but when you've got an Alchemist, you're 40 minutes in almost, and the TB is only 4k behind said Alch. I don't think net worth really matters anymore.
No. Yeah, we're at that point where 9k lead for Rune Eaters just doesn't really say anything. It's fairly equal of a position. You've got a tier 2 advantage here for Rune Eaters, but the gold is just not helping out in a massive way. And again, it's time to maybe consider the Ags upgrade lines here for the Alchemist. Like, the Invoker Ag sounds like it could be the best choice. There's some utility you can get with Viper Ags as well, with a Viper Strike. Some utility that can come through and some good damage that can always stay relevant, I suppose, if you want to go that route. But you are starting to run out of slots here. TA2000's queuing up a Nullifier. Probably just replace the Phase Boots, I guess, and play with the Overwhelming Blink. Could be one way to go. In comparison, Knight just feels super powerful, right? It's a Terrorblade with the MKB to counteract the evasion. You can rip through the Alk up front, even when he does hold his ground. We've seen his HP drop from magic damage when BKB's down, from the right clicks, even from the reflection coming through from Knight. It's super powerful on those physical cores. And this patience game from one move is still looking like it's paying off. Like, there has been no pressure on high ground. Like, the mid has dropped to 1,100 here for the side of one move. That's pretty much it. They were the ones to take the first tier 3. They see the double damage rune as well for Knight, so it could be a nice pickup to force the fight around, or just clean up objectives. Like, you don't even need to take some fights here if you don't want to. You can just go for a nice easy push and force the issues onto high ground.
They might. Bot lane, they're going to move in. Knight has a double damage rune, so the T2 tower, it's not going to last long, and he has the Demon Zeal now. Let's get in, John. He is a POS 1 player, so naturally he took the shards, even though it's not that great on the TB, and it does do some good work, though, in this situation. Like, Knight doesn't have to pop the meta. It is a fair bit of bonus attack and movement speed there on the Demon Zeal, so why the hell not? And you've got a double damage as well. You're laughing. It's Knight who gets started again on that mid-tier 2 tower, and it's paying off. It's working.
Middle tower has fallen.
Yeah, they just force everyone back. They scout out again with the Thunder God's Rat, preventing any sort of smoke counterplay for the defense on Rune Eaters. They do manage to at least, you know, get some farm to keep flowing. I mean, you're at the point where BKB Enchantress is a reality, so maybe you start shifting more onto Kaori. We've seen our Enchantresses swing into cores towards that late game scenario. Mike, pure damage always works out. So that could be one route as well for the Rune Eaters here. But one move, probably just don't mind. Aegis is still up. Not too much time left, though. That could be a cause of concern. Only 40 seconds left. So if you can time this fight right on Rune Eaters, you could catch one move in a bit of an awkward bind, but they're opting to play ultra defensive. They just hold high ground. They're the team with a 5k lead. It doesn't matter. Look at the gold now on Knight. He's within 2k of the Alp. For the entire game, it's a consistent 4k. Now the Terrorblade's breaking through that barrier. Only 2k behind. It still has some room to grow here.
That they do. That's the thing. Like, you're not just solely relying on the TB here either. Like, you've got this mid Zeus. It can be a big problem. The more farm he gets, and Melajul's going to be going for the Refresher Orb next, so double Nimbus, double Thunder God's Wrath.
This to be of sound constitution if you're aiming.
And like you keep saying, all the net worth right now on Rune Eaters is simply on TA2000, who, by the way, John, is still not done farming. He's going for a Moonshard now. Still no Aghanim Scepter, John. What did I tell you? What did I tell you, John?
Yeah. I know. I feel like, you know, even something like the Shard could be really useful, right? Like the Dispel could save you in the fight. The added attack speed, added regen could be massive on something like the Anch around here.
Well, gotta be careful. Afterlife is having a look around. Still, they are going to make the jump in. Nice stun out. TA2000. He caught two of them. Afterlife. He'll make a run out, but they've got the TB. Knight. He needs a Sunder. He'll get one off, but he doesn't want to pop the meta yet. He's just going to go for a run with the BKB out. Meanwhile, Melajul, he's got arrow down, and now you might be able to turn this one, but Knight, he's still dropping too low. He pops the meta, and he's gone down. He'll buy back immediately. They're still onto the Viper, but do you really want to fight without the Metamorphosis?
Yes.
Well, they are. Yeah, the answer's yes. I don't need meta. I'll do it the old-fashioned way. John, I don't understand how you lose that team fight as Rune Eaters. You take the TB down, he buys back with no meta, but you still lose the team fight. How?
You lost your Alk early on there, Mike. He jumps in, he's forced to initiate for the team. BKB runs out, the magic damage still kicks in, and that's the opportunity. He dies right around the time Knight dies, or a little bit after the TB dies. So he comes back in, Demon Zeal. You talked about it, but, you know, in melee form, this is devastating. They're forced to fortify, they have buybacks, but they don't want to pop it, and this could be one move fighting more objectives. Still a bit unsafe. You did buy back on TB. It could be risky if he does get picked off. BKB on cooldown for a bit longer, but it doesn't matter. It's still fine. That mid-setter Rex could swing around for top, and Rune Eaters, they lose the lead here. Net worth's gone. Demon Zeal uptime is that 100% uptime? It almost feels like, or at least 50%. Yeah, 50% uptime. So you could just constantly run in, and it doesn't matter. You still have damage with it.
Just keep going. Jump in. This is stun out on Panto, and just want that top Rax if they can get it. There is buyback available on the Arc Viper, but they aren't going to commit. They aren't going to back their way out, and it doesn't seem like Rune Eaters are going to be able to really punish this one. By the way, John, now that you mention it, so Demon Zeal tells you the cooldown twice, but it doesn't tell you the duration.
No.
It tells you the cooldown twice, but not... Oh, I just don't. I've been playing. It's been 15 plus years I've been playing this game, John. It just this just always happens. We just can't get it right. You know, well, what's the duration?
Well, at least we know it's 7 seconds, so 50% uptime. I guess that's the one thing to remember. 50%. That's all you need to know. I suppose.
All right.
I mean,
Just gotta do some math.
Yeah, the 50%'s not quite there for Rune Eaters, though. Win probability right now for one move is 76% in their favor. They will smoke up. So, again, maybe signaling they've got a move to play. They were just scouted out by Thunder Gods a few moments ago, and just look at the position of one move. Knowing that they were clumped up for a bit of a smoke play, perhaps, they've already backed off. They're working the lanes as best as they can, not giving that opening for the gank here from Rune Eaters, and they'll run the same route, Mike. It's the same route. They go into the triangle, they'll swing around on the top jungle, maybe try to find someone, maybe find Panto again. Still not the target they'd be looking for, even if they get that kill. If they get that kill.
I love the way Panto's positioning this game. Just constantly tanking the ganks here from the side of Rune Eaters, and well, this time around they won't even try because TB Illusions, top lane, John. We've seen this all game. It's either Beastmaster units or TB Illusions just running at the racks, and they just have to address it every single time. I think if you're Rune Eaters, your option is push out the top lane. You really haven't got any other option. That top lane has to be forced out.
Yeah, you have to take control of that area, prevent that threat without the tier 3 standing. And I think, again, going back to your Alchemist network here, maybe start investing into other heroes. Say, swing Cowrie onto a core, right? Has a fairly long duration BKB on the edge. Gift her a Moon Shard. I don't know if you'd gift her the Ags. I don't know if that's particularly useful. I know Trent was pretty happy about that last night, Mike. I heard that. Very hyped for the Sproink. It could be good, right? Like
it's not.
Getting a free impetus onto illusions could be, you know.
It's not.
Yeah, maybe.
It's not good, John.
It's not
John,
good. But
I'm an
gift the Moon Shard.
Stop saying it's good.
Gift the Moon Shard over. Get your Ag Shard up on TA2000. Add some attack speed onto the Ench. Use your BKB and run in an impetus and try to melt them down.
Yeah. No, you know. You obviously know, John, I'm trying to get Ench buffed here. You know, I can't have this kind of crappy Aghanim Scepter. Sprink. I remember reading that for the first time, and I was like, what is this garbage? What am I going to do with this?
You Sprink around, Mike. You roleplay.
Yeah, you do. Smoke out, one move. I'm going to wrap around here through the dire jungle. They could be right behind. They've got the vision with the Observer Warden. They'll see Cowrie at least. They know the Ench is there. They are still being very patient, though. Even Hawk's giving vision over Arrow right now. Roshan is up, mind you, so if you win this team fight, it's right into Roshan for one move and then back to the high ground of the dire base. They are still moving in, maybe just trying to snipe Arrow first, but he'll back his way out. So the Rune Eaters right now probably don't want the fight. It's a very awkward scenario, and I think they are kind of relegated to just fighting on high ground or trying to force a Roshan fight. And speaking of the devil, Roshan may get started very soon, because Afterlife, he is around. We are going to have a quick pause out here from Melajul, as might be having a few lag issues. But John, let's talk about Sprink a bit more. This Aghanim Scepter, like 4.2k. You get 3 hits away with the impetus on the furthest enemy units, by the way, with plus 200 attack range on a 5-second cool. It seems good, right? In what circumstance would you build this crap?
No circumstance.
No circumstances, right?
I don't think so, no.
I mean,
no,
Q built it yesterday in SCA DPC, to be fair. But he was literally carrying the team as a pos 5 inch. Like he was just having the freest game of his life, and he decided, hey, I've got extra gold. But apart from the memes, what the hell would you buy this crap for?
Apart from memes, I think the memes are the big reason to, Mike. There's no other reason. I'm actually curious. So you saw Sproink. If there's only one targetable enemy, does that launch 3 attacks on that one enemy? Or no?
Only one.
Okay, never mind. Okay,
See,
never mind.
if it was 3, I think it would be viable. Right?
Yes, it would.
Because if you find a solo guy, you pop it, he's probably going to die with a hurricane fight. But
yeah,
without
nah.
no good. It's like Bloodseeker eggs. It's just crap.
Bloodseeker eggs. Let me tell you. You know, I did try that build that I mentioned to you before. What did I say the build was? Radiance Ags, and try to melt people. You don't move past. I tried it. You don't move past Radiance because you need Radiance BKB, and at that point your team is losing. I've not seen that go in a winning condition on Bloodseeker. So I would have loved. I was playing pause 1.
Oh,
so I was trying to. Yeah, no, it was terrible.
You did that to your team?
Yes. No, they willingly said, "Hey guys," I told them, "Hey guys, we're gonna try this. We're gonna go Ags, and we're gonna go try to amp up the spells. We'll go for a Kaya down line." Never even reached past Radiance. We just lost it before I could even fully BKB. I'm just a bad one. Still, you've got Afterlife sneaking around here. Houston Ninja Gear does get a good spot out and blinks away. Just plays tag a bit with a ward.
Yeah. I don't think your team agreed, by the way, with the Bloodseeker action. It
No,
sounds like
we
they
were
were
fine.
they were
They
being held
agreed.
hostage.
No,
They were being held
agreed.
hostage, weren't they, John?
They agreed. They ran some funny stuff as well. I think what I really wanted was like Bloodseeker and Sky, right? Because Ancient Seal, while Radiance and Blood Mist is running. It sounds nice. It's absolutely not nice. It's terrible. Even Jenkins, we had that conversation in Stockholm. Jenkins was like, yeah, no, this is terrible. And it's even worse now because it's not even pure damage.
Which is
Yeah, it's,
crazy
like,
for me
sad.
as well, because I thought you were the only caster out there that actually wanted this Aghanim Scepter on Bloodseeker to work, but turns out there's another degenerate
Nah.
in the DPC.
Yeah.
And Jenkins agreed with you. He actually wanted it. And I was like, well,
What did I tell you, Mike? What did
I'm
I
gonna
tell you?
walk
I'm
aw-
Gremlo.
I walked away.
I eat cat litter. I eat
Yeah.
cat litter. I'm Gremlo too. We were both Gremlo. All right.
Very good. Thank you for that, Jonathan.
I'm sure.
So-
I'm sure I can be backed up by certain members of Arkush at some point. I am Gremlo. Was Gremlo. Is Gremlo. Will be Gremlo.
Don't know why you'd want to be, though, John. So, not exactly a compliment, let me tell you. You seen Arkosh recently?
Actually, no, I haven't.
Well, I wouldn't recommend watching. I'll tell you that. Shout out to the Arkosh boys. Go give NA Dota a watch. Great old NA Dota.
Absolutely.
I love me some
So-
NA DPC.
It is great, Mike. You know what else is great? Roche spawning up here. Free Ags on the deck. Who do you hand it to? I mean, it's pretty big on Knight, but I would say, from my perspective, give it to Afterlife. Just have those no cooldown axes back up. I mean, yeah, free Metamorphosis, how can you argue against that for Knight? But think of the memes, Mike. He's already queuing up Ags for himself anyway. Give it to Afterlife. He's queuing up AC. He's going for utility. Let him have the Ags. Let him get the axes off and cut the trees, all the trees, so Arrow is no longer a happy monkey.
I'd like it. I mean, they've got the Hawk vision to scout the tree line anyway, John, so, you don't really need to cut every tree. You just cut the tree that the monkey's on anyway.
Dire's top
It's
barracks are
Afterlife.
under attack.
May get scouted right now. Jump in. Where's this Beastmaster? Right back the other way.
I love what he's doing, Mike. Pop the ninja gear, break the smoke, and just blink away. it's just playing tag. He's done that twice in a row, going for that ward, and now they'll actually smoke up here.
See what they can get. They know they're there. He's broken the smoke twice in that same area. Panto gonna move in.
Oh.
Smoke is out, but broken immediately. Hawk gonna give all the vision. This could be a terrible team fight, but no. They back off. Rune Eaters, they're the one to jump in. TA, he does force the BKB out from Afterlife. I thought the one move would definitely take that fight, having that high ground advantage, but they might be a bit fearful considering that Knight still has 25 seconds without buyback.
Yeah, and just want to play it a bit safe. Don't want to have to overextend here, and you want to have a good angle into the Roshan. And I'll take back what I said. Don't give it to Afterlife. Give Sayu the axe. Give our Skyrat Mage all the spells. We'll see if they get that done. Of course, it's probably Knight. Who am I kidding? It's free gold. for the TB. Knight's just gonna want it for free, save his gold for something else.
Unless Rune Eaters, they still can contest, John. It's not guaranteed to go the way of one move as a Balor Strike does set up. Wukong's is there, jump in is out, nice stun onto 3 targets, but they want to try and go after the TB. Meanwhile, Roshan's still going down and it's complete chaos, but a double Thunder God's Wrath has been committed. Melajul throwing everything but the kitchen sink, and everyone dropping so low. Now the Hawk Dive out. Rune Eater's gonna back their way out of there, but Knight, he's gonna jump right back in on the Terror Blade, but Arrow is out with TA2000. They're trying, but they've lost the Monkey King. Knight, he'll go for Roshan, but Cloud is gonna try and out-click him. Cloud, he does get the Aegis up on the Viper, takes it away from the TB, as now maybe they can kill Knight off. The Sunder, it won't come out in time. Rune Eaters, they deny the Aegis away, but they lose TA2000. Melajul still dropping, but a great bushwhack out from Panto. It's just not going to make enough of a difference. A triple kill up for Hayes on the Invoker. This will go for a bit more now. Afterlife on the run, trying to back his way out. Hayes, he'll jump in, but oh, he's gone too far. He's gone too far. Cowrie, he's going to make it out. So will the Viper Cloud. So you deny the Aegis away, but
Dire's middle tower
I mean, they
is
even
under
got the cheese, John. The Viper took the cheese, but
Yeah, they got the cheese, they got the Ags as well, Mikey. They got everything. And it still doesn't look like a great fight. Like, Viper, I mean, Cloud uses his life really well. Steals away the Ags.
where's the Axe?
It's just in base. It's in base.
They're
No one's
not giving
using
it to the Elk, are they?
Why
they're not
would
really
you?
giving-
He needs to gift Ags to get the bonus on himself. It shouldn't be. Maybe
This is my
Invoker?
shout.
You know, Invoker Ags sounds like the play here. Spoink might could be a really good spell. You never know.
I'd love to see it, John. If Sprink wins this game
Don't
for
you
Rune
lie.
Eaters, I really would. If they win with Sprink, I'll be so impressed.
It would be. We'll see though.
Afterlife?
Again, probably just going for Invoker. Afterlife again, playing around with a Ninja Gear smoke. Been really enjoying that. You're
John?
still in a weird position for one move. Yeah, Mike.
Yesterday, we had multiple, I believe 3 situations where there could have been tier 5 items. And every time I said it, it didn't happen. The time is coming. Do I say it? As Panto is going to catch with the bushwhack. Sharpshooter there. Raw being committed, and they'll let the units do the rest. But he's going to force stuff out. Cowrie, no, still going to die. Melajul is there with the backup, just waiting for the 4 staff to be committed first. And does get a very nice kill onto the Ench. Suppose that wouldn't have happened had you had Sprink, though.
Maybe.
No one's
Maybe
taking
the
the
spark
axe.
would have saved. Wait, really? Not even. Come on.
Hey,
Hayes
he
got a
TP'd
tape.
out
He's
and he's
walking
like,
that,
whoops.
alright.
Dire are scanning.
Whoops, there you go. Yeah, there, he's got the space. There you go. Invoker Ags. I mean, would have been spicy if they gave it to TA2000 to activate, and then he starts gifting Ags. That it's 20 bonus damage per Ags. It's 5% spell amp. That
Wow.
could be something, right? Like 5 Ags, 25% spell amp, 100 damage, free
Yeah,
slot.
but then he has to give his Ench an Aghanim Scepter, John. Yeah?
Fair point, Mike. Fair
Yeah.
point.
That's his career
I mean,
over.
if you still think about it, it's a massive investment, but it's also he's out of slots. He is going for a refresh. He has a refresh. So double BKB, double Chemical Rage, double Unstable, double Acid Spray could be really big. The Mind's Armor is nice. Just having that extra durability up front is going to be massive. One mover is still somehow in control of this game, it feels like. Despite dropping that Roshan, there's still the threat onto the last 2 set of racks. They're still playing patiently. Rune Eaters, and they're being given the opportunity to be aggressive, right? They're the ones given the initiative to take point here, and they're still not able to. Octarine already up on Afterlife. Shorter cooldown on the Roar. 22-second cooldown on that Roar, Mike. 22.5. Very nice and balanced. He could just, you know what he could do now? Pop the Ninja Gear, get it broken, roar, and walk away, and just wait again, and do it again, and again, and again. Why?
Yeah.
It never stops, Mike.
It certainly doesn't, Jonathan. It could be the strat they're looking for. But they are going to move up to the high ground now. One move. Maybe trying to force that high ground. I mean, nobody has the Aegis, so you don't have to worry about a secondary life on anyone. Just try to rat the Megas up as they do catch the Viper. Raw being committed, they'll blow him up. Cloud's gone. Big pick off already, but he does have buyback available. They may just want to try and force it though. Melajul's actually going to TP out, but he might just go for a reset. He's got boots of travel anyway, and Well, it's Zeus. He's quite global. He doesn't have any spells that are global right now, but it's kind of besides the point. He'll be back with a reset. There's one move. They are going to take their time just chipping away at this top racks.
Yep. You're doing a good job enough for Root Meters to hold off, so no progression onto the melee, but they find a range for free. Afterlife again. Playing with a Ninja Gear Roar back off cooldown, so could just play poke and tag if he wants to, is opting to play it safe. I mean, as this game drags on, Mike, Octarine's going to come out for Melodrew, lower cooldowns for him. Spamming all the spells in the world. You do have enough gold for the Moon Shard here for Kaori. Oh, Roar.
Jump in. They've got the Mystic Flare as well. Hayes, he's not going to take all of it. They'll let Kaori die. Instead, though, they do get Seiyu. Not a bad trade. Rune Eaters, that should stop any kind of high ground attempt once again. So they'll be able to hold out a bit longer, and John, we slowly get closer to that 60-minute mark. I'm not going to say it, because I've jinxed it every time, but we're almost there.
We're almost there, Mikey. We're almost there. I would love to see my Giant Ring once more. I think that goes without saying. But you know what's spicier here?
What's that?
When you have Fallen Sky, right? For, say, Afterlife. Just let him have fun. He's been jumping around anyway. He's been doing silly stuff with his Ninja Gear. Let him fall in Sky while using the Ninja Gear onto people and blink away. Or blink in, Roar, and meet your hammer, or meet your, Fallen Sky out, you know? Why not? Change it up a bit.
Arrow. Oh, boy. Yeah. Nice Thunder God's Wrath out from the Zeus, and, this Monkey King going absolutely nowhere as Knight even pops the Terror Wave. He's just not messing around. He wants the guaranteed kill, and he will get it. Boy, oh boy. Rune Eaters. Now 2k behind, 58 minutes into the game. Maybe if they get lucky enough with some RNG on tier 5 items, you never know what could happen past 60 minutes. But they've got to wait out the next 2 minutes, and they've got to get to the jungle camps.
Yeah, they still have good reach into their triangle. I think that's one access point that one move hasn't really cut them off from. And that could be the way to go. Yes, Giant's Ring again here for TA2000 could be something game-changing. Just have a massive Alchemist up front, play with the Overwhelming Blink. Could be one angle. One move, though, looking like they're losing patience here, Mike.
Jump in. They're going to try and snipe this Enchantress with the Zeus. And they've got him. You just can't do anything against it. Melodrew will happily tip over to Afterlife. Just thank you very much for the free gold. That's 2 down once again for Rune Eaters, and Afterlife, well, he might just chip away at the bottom racks, which is exposed. If you don't want to take a team fight, this is the way to do it. Just torture them slowly. But they will go in.
Roar's off cooldown.
No messing around. Hayes going to jump in onto the TB along with TA2000, but can they get him? They'll refresh everything onto the TB. He's dropping low and they've got him. He's got buyback available, but they don't want this fight anymore. One move, might need to back off, but Hayes, he does go down. Arrow, he's been caught out. Mystic Flare is there. Afterlife, he'll be chased down here by Rune Eaters, and eventually may get caught out, but Panto's right behind him. They might keep fighting as Cloud is dropping low, but he'll eat the cheese up on the Viper. And Panto's the one to go down. This TA2000 doesn't throw the stun out. He goes for the Nullifier instead, and Seiyu, he's just going to run out of there on the Skywrath. They could have gotten a dieback, I think, on the Skywrath Mage, but never mind. He actually did not buy back. Seiyu may even still drop. Zaro gonna drop the Wukong's command, trying for a solo pickoff, but it's not gonna be up enough. In fact, Seiyu gonna turn around, has Mystic Flare available if he wants to throw it out, but won't do so. So they find the TB, and we're officially 60 minutes into the game, Jonathan. There we go.
There you go. There you go. The most boring one, Book of the Dead first. I'm sure you're very happy about this, Mike.
What do you mean boring?
Oh, you love it.
It's a great... John, you know what wouldn't be boring? Bringing Necrobook back. That's what wouldn't be boring.
No. You're degenerate, Mike. I don't know how I stay with you for so long, you Necrobook enjoyer.
Bring it back, please.
I know.
Oh, bot lane. Roar out. They might just blow him up. The Arc's gone.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy. You know, I thought it was just an Ench thing, John. Turns out they can do the same thing to the Alchemist.
Yeah, nah. And you saw how long it took them to commit onto the TB there, right? Like, they had to get Hexes, chain stun perfectly. Here, what do you have to do? Roar, Ancient Seal, Flare, double Thunder God's Wrath, Nimbus down, and you get the kill. It's much faster for them to drop the Alch from full to 0. And It takes less coordination, whereas when they made that move on tonight, it took so much coordination just to pin in that TB, and they still managed to find that Invoker kill in that fight. Apex found a really nice item, I guess, right now for Knight, even more stats, and the Fallen Skies there. That should be... I really want to see it in Afterlife, but he's playing with Necro.
Roar out again. Who have they got? Arrow. Did get roared up. We'll be able to force staff away and... Well, actually, John, you got your wish, by the way. Carrie's got a moonshot.
There you go. I mean, he bought that himself, Fred. I was asking for it to be gifted by her elk, sitting all this
pirate
work.
hat.
Oh,
Pirate hat as well, Jonathan.
Okay, this is where it gets spicy.
Yeah. Carrie Ench. Sproink. Cloud. Roar up. They've got the Viper, but can they blow him up? Cloud is dropping very low and does go down. That's one. He does have buyback. They found Seiyu as a trade. Knight, he will pop the Terror Wave, and again, that'll be enough for him. They got the top. Well, they didn't finish off the melee barracks, so they're going to have to go back for that. But for now, back to farming some tier 5 items. They've still got one more to go after the Seer Stone.
Ooh. The Seer Stone. That's very, very nice. Like, I don't know if you'd really want the cast range on Melojule. Looks like he might just pick it up. I feel like the CDR was better on the Quickening Charm, and you just hand the Seer Stone to, say, your Skyrad. Right, so you can hit from a million miles away with the Ancient Seal. Still, not a bad item to have on Zeus as the Roche opens up here. Everything on the board. Rune Eaters have to dip outside their base, but they're not even able to. They don't have forward vision in the Roche area. Roche falls way too fast, and this time, no playing around. They will take the Aegis for themselves. Free Ags on the deck.
Come on. Someone pick it up. Panto, he'll take the Ags.
He already has his own Ag, so pass it on to our Sky. Seiyu. Give it to Seiyu. Give him the double Ancient Seal. Give him the double everything. And just give this guy a good game.
Why the hell not? He'll take the Refresher Shard instead here on Panto. Is there still one more T5? No.
Don't tell
sure.
me. Don't tell me. Panto, if he's truly griefing here, would sell his Ags. No, okay, he drops it. What a good player. Panto's such a good teammate. Because some people would just sell their Ags and use that. It's like, yeah, I'll free up my slot. I'm a support, but I want a free slot.
Look at this, Jonathan. Afterlife, he's having a very good time. Look what he's got with him. Some things never get older. Look at this, John. Here we go.
Disgusting.
Send the army in. Send them in. Look at that.
Disgusting.
No Dota necessary here, Jonathan. Just get the racks down. I love Necrobook.
You disgust me, Mike.
It's a great item, John.
Say what you have to say to sleep at night, Mike. I don't have to agree with that one. You know, if it lets you sleep, if it lets you rest easy, I'll let you believe it, Mike.
Thank you, John. I mean, if there was going to be a book read to me before I fell asleep, John, it would be Book of the Dead or Necrobook, whichever one. It's Book of the Dead popped up. Afterlife, gonna make a jump in. He's just scouting out for his units, John. He's not actually going to commit. It's all about the Necromonicons. That they won't make their way in this time. Back to TA2000, he's going to make his way in, but BKBs are there, and now the Roar out onto the Alchemist, but do they have the damage output? It does seem like they do. TA2000, he's going to die. No buyback available on the Alchemist, but they've got the TB. That's the first life. On the Terrorblade down, no Metamorphosis available. This TB might be in danger as they keep trying to fight this one out, but Melojule, he's getting so much damage off from the backside. With all this magic damage out, no buybacks available. They've only got the Viper. It's a 2v5 situation here for Rune Eaters, and it's not looking good for them as Cloud gets roared up immediately and they just rush in. They want the Viper down. Dieback immediately out from Cloud and he calls it GG. There's one move. All it really took was one move, Jonathan. And they get the job done.
Yeah, I see what you did there. Just one move out from one move. It was terrible, John. Close it out. Rune Eaters. Well, maybe they didn't have any runes to eat there. Oh, look at them flex in 60-minute game. They know they feel strong. I mean, to be fair, they were behind for a long time there on one move. They had this huge lead on the Alchemist coming out from Rune Eaters. They didn't manage to use that advantage. Well, and we hit that point where, again, the Alchemist just this gold trap. All of the gold pouring into him, nothing to show for it. And props to one move. You saw all those movements across the map. I think just that constant bait, forcing Rune Eaters to go into triangle, into top lane, and just getting caught by the wards every time by Panto. That was a beautiful way to delay this game long enough. And that the Terrorblade hits this point where it's massive, that you have the Zeus that just shoves into waves with your Beastmaster really well. and there was just no great solution coming out from Rune Eaters. They just stalled the game out. They have this Alk with a good timing that they didn't capitalize on and just fell apart. And, very important for the EEU DPC here in Tour 3, still no Game 3 series, Mike. Another 2-0.
Excellent. Well, with that, John, we are going to head off to a very short break. And you know what? Let's hope for a 2-1 series next series. I mean, you and I aren't casting, but I'm sure the panelists and casters do want to see it. So, 3-game series coming up here for the EEU DPC. They just had a 60-minute break anyway, John. They can do that. We are going to head off to a very short break, though. And right after that break, we'll be back with a post-game analysis and an interview with our panel. We'll see you then.
It was 65 minutes, and it might have looked a little bit shaky there in the middle ground, but one move, they do end up closing out the series in a 2-0 fashion. They were really able to do well in that game. I feel like they kept the cool. I probably wouldn't have as much. The laning phase for Rune Eaters played out a lot better than how we saw it in Game 1 Fear.
Yeah, I mean, this game, I did mention I wanted to see one move change their lanes up a little bit. Maybe move the Terrorblade into the Alk lane, move the Beast into the Viper lane. They chose not to do that. The Beastmaster did okay in the laning stage. He went for the Axe build with the Skywrath and first splitting the Enchantress, but they didn't really stop the Alchemist from farming in that lane either. And Viper was off to a hot start as well. So I mentioned Alchemist needs to snowball this game, and he was off to a great start with it.
Mm-hmm. For you, Cap, did you feel that Rune Eaters just played a better game all round? Were they doing things that you didn't get to see them do as much in Game 1?
I mean, their laning phase definitely went better, and I feel like we see this when matchups are a little uneven. When you lose your laning phase, there's not much to do after that unless you're a really experienced team. So I think that one of the bigger things in general was just I did not feel like they were taking enough advantage of when they were ahead. Mm-hmm. It just felt like some of those smoke rotations. I mean, props to one move. They did do like the holding out on that ward on the top side of the map for like that 7-minute period that they did. That was a really nice way for them to stay inside of the game. But I feel like a more experienced team would have taken the dire advantage and been able to do more with it.
Mm-hmm. What sort of moments do you think were Rune Eaters' big timings that they should have worked a little bit more around?
I think when they got the Roshan. So they have this lineup where they pretty much need to snowball. They picked this Alchemist. It's not going to scale into Zeus and Terrorblade into the late game. Mm-hmm. So they have to find some openings in the map to just make the map really small and choke out, one move from the map and maybe even go high ground. But unfortunately, it's like they put themselves in such a difficult position by picking this Alk, where they need to snowball, but it's kind of hard to go high ground versus Zeus and the Hoodwink. Just one move just did a great job just delaying the game out.
Mm-hmm. Is there any other sort of silver lining for you guys with one move over this whole series?
I would say just general progression. The fact that they were able to kind of weather through that storm was pretty good. Just because, we saw them lose to outsiders, but now they've got 2 wins under their belt. I'm really interested to see where they're going to play out in the whole of Eastern Europe, because it feels like they're, I would say, a pretty solid midfield team, and I hope they're able to challenge some of the bigger names.
Mm-hmm. Well, we get to potentially ask them that question as we do have a winners interview. We're going to be joined again by Pantomime. Pandemum, thank you for joining us. Congratulations on the win again. For you guys during this series, was there any surprises during the draft at all?
I don't think so. First game was like we planned, easy draft, easy game. Second one was like when draft phase ends, how coach said, we have so bad draft, but good luck.
Do you feel that you have one of the most diverse hero pools in Eastern Europe, perhaps?
Me?
Or just the team as a whole?
I think when we are trying something new, we are losing games, so we have to pick same heroes.
Okay.
But in this game, I have to play Hoodwink, because when we pick it, they already had 3 heroes with passive spells, so I think Hoodwink will be good. And after all drafts, I just realized that me and Sayush have to do all work on all map.
So you mentioned that your coach said you had a bad draft and good luck, but did you feel a little relieved when they last picked Alchemist against your draft?
I was the only one who said that they can make last pick Alchemist, Other guys decided that they want Faceless Void, but I think both of those heroes are good, and Faceless Void can secure their late game, but on the other hand, Alchemist can snowball us, and they just decide to pick this hero. If they had Faceless Void, I think in late game it's gonna be a lot of harder for us.
One more question about the draft as well. I've seen you guys pick up Sniper a couple times now. A lot of teams aren't picking up. Do you guys feel like you just know this hero and you think it's just really good for your team, or do you think Sniper is just a good hero this patch?
It's always easy to play games when you are winning lanes, and Sniper is the only one of those heroes this patch. After nerfs, Charles Knight and other heroes get nerfed, and Sniper is strong laner still. That's why he is so good. And when you have good draft, someone can go in front and make a position and space. It's a really good hero. You can even pick it when second draft phase starts. I think it's a too good hero.
You guys were in a pretty interesting situation in that game too. At about like 25 minutes, you guys spent like 10 minutes at the top of the map just playing underneath that ward. What were you guys talking about during that period of time?
It was improvisation, and we feel like we are bandits in trees, and when they're coming, we just kill them, and we are still staying in the same place, and they just don't know what to do. It was hard for us to catch us. We knew that they used a lot of smokes and they can't find us because we're just staying in trees and TB out pushing lanes with illusions. It was super good for us.
All right, fair enough. I had one more question. You guys lost to Outsiders, but you've beaten two of the, I would say, weaker teams in your group. Where do you think you match up in the entirety of Eastern Europe? You still have some of the bigger dogs to face up against, like Spirit and Na'Vi. Where do you think you'll end up at the end of the season? What are you shooting for?
I consider Dota nowadays it's a game where any team can win any team. So we will just try to pick our best heroes and reach better plays that we can. I really want to major. That's why I would show my best, and my teammates, I hope, as well.
Well, I hope we get to see you there.
You're definitely on track, Pantomime. Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations again.
Thank you, guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Well, we heard it from him where he thinks one move stands. Where do you guys feel one move is probably going to be standing at the end of this DPC?
Middle of the pack.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they've proven that they're not the bottom of the pack now. They've beat, like... Did they play Parney yet? I'm not sure if they played Parney.
No, they have not.
Oh, I think they'll beat them too. So they'll be standing right about there. It's like pretty much everyone, like Na'Vi, Outsiders, Team Spirit, Bet Boom even to some degree. We'll see how well they're doing this tour. They're playing later, next series actually. But if they can beat Bet Boom, I'll be impressed by them.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's for me like the end. Like I know he wants the major.
Yeah.
Like I'm not quite sure where they'll land at. I think a big peak for them would be beating Bet Boom and securing 4th place.
Okay, so maybe it's more about like the individual matchups than the whole entirety of DPC for them getting that end goal of the major. Look, we said it, they are looking fantastic. They are on the right track to potentially be getting the major, even if we don't think they might get there. But there is still so much more Eastern European action coming up. But for now, we're going to jump to a short break.